I mean, there's a lot of similarities between all four of them. And then I would say some slight differences as well between each individual club and also across the leagues. The first thing is that all of them are hungry for titles, and the demands on the players and the coaching staff when you're there is to deliver titles. So that was the same at Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. They're all driven by, domestic trophies, win the league, do your best you can in the cups, and also to compete at a high level in Europe. So, minimum getting to the latter stages of the Champions League. And at a club like Real Madrid, the expectation is that you win that trophy every year, although that's very difficult to do. I think some slight differences between them, and also the timing of when we arrived at the clubs were in slightly different moments. So at Chelsea, I would say that squad were at the peak of their powers. The best players were at a very mature football age, so really between 26 and 30 really. So Lampard, Terry, Drogba, Essien, Cech, really strong characters, mature in terms of their experience, mature physically, already a winning side from the Mourinho years particularly, and then when we took them they were very, very strong. So unfortunately we were successful, so won the double in 2009-2010 with that squad, and should have done better in the Champions League. When we went to Paris Saint-Germain, I think the difference was there that the investment from Qatar had only been like a year earlier, so the club was evolving. It was the start of something, and part of the reason they took Carlo there was that when you get a coach of that level, then you're going to be able to attract some of the best players. So that was definitely a team, a club, an organisation in transition. So when Carlo came, followed by Thiago Silva, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Beckham, even though he was coming towards the end, Lavezzi, Verratti, the level of the talent in the dressing room went up another level. And we won the league for the first time in 19 years. And from then you see now the dominant force that PSG are, certainly domestically, but still have aspirations to do that in Europe as well. Madrid was next. That club has unbelievable history. As soon as we walked in the door, we felt the magnitude of the responsibility in the place we were at. They're very careful about where they get you to sign your papers. You're sitting there in this room that has, at the time, 9 Champions League trophies, European trophies in the cabinet. There's no other trophies there, like league trophies or domestic cup trophies. It's just the Champions League trophies. And you realise that that's what they're about. You've got to be dominant in Europe, not just domestically. Fortunately, we met a great squad of players, and we were able to deliver the 10th European trophy. Since then, they've delivered another 4. But very historical club. For me, the best club, biggest club in world football. And then Bayern, also a huge club in Europe and also domestically, but slightly different to Madrid, where Madrid is just a machine, both inside the club and outside. I felt Bayern was a lot more intimate inside. So, for example, the training ground is a training ground they've been at many, many, many years. It's called Straße, and it is a moderate facility in what I would say in terms of how up to date it is and the size of it. But there's a reason that they've kept it there. They like it that it's small. They like it that it's intimate. They like it that you're constantly in contact with people. So family club, small and intimate on the inside, but colossal on the outside. So of course, similarities between, got to win, got to deliver, got to be successful, but some slight differences from each one as well. Well, there was a lot, and we were 7 years working together, and some of the best times that I've had in football. It's hard to pick out one particular moment, but if I was going to do that, it would be winning the Champions League in 2014. It was an incredible, not just moment, but season as well. Everything that led up to that. But then when we played in the final was in Lisbon, and we were playing against Atletico Madrid, so the rival from the city. So it was almost like the whole of Madrid had camped across from Madrid and driven or flown into Lisbon in Portugal. And then really difficult game, but just the circumstances of football, how, the importance of never giving up and keep going. I mean, we were losing 1-0 in the first half. I remember well Carlo and the way he spoke to the players at half time. The stress and the magnitude of the situation, and he was super calm, gave his tactical instructions. Second half, made good changes. The players kept pushing. It didn't look like it was going to come, but 93rd minute, it just shows the importance to keep going. So I got that equaliser. They went into extra time, but as soon as that goal went in, you just knew that we were going to win, because Atletico players had dropped down on their knees in shock that they'd conceded that late. And we had the momentum, we had the strength then, and we went on and won 4-1. But still, when that whistle went at the end of extra time, that was an incredible moment. But what was also incredible is when we got back to the dressing room. All the jubilation and congratulations and getting some drinks and saying, wow, and amazing. And I saw a small group of players had just congregated and were talking quite deeply about something. And I thought, what are they talking about? And I went over, and it was the Brazilian Portuguese speaking players, so Contrao, Pepe, Ronaldo, Marcelo. And they were already discussing how important it would be to go and win it again next season. And I think that's the difference between the most elite players and good players, that it's never enough. On to the next thing. What can we do? Success, driven. A great insight from me at that time. I think there's lots of things. I think very important, which I mentioned to the coaches here, was that curiosity is really important, I think, as a coach, because you'll never crack it. The game moves on quickly. There's new ideas. There's rule changes. There's different things in terms of data, technology, analytics. The game's getting faster, more ingenious tactics, more flexibility. So, that thirst for knowledge is really important, and being adaptable and flexible. But some of the, old style traits are still very important. The importance of hard work, putting the graft in, respect and humility. So character traits are very important. And really important, and I try and do this now, is keeping up to date with the trends in the game. So, I'm currently not coaching with a team, but I've got to make sure I keep my sword sharpened for when that opportunity does arise. So, what I'm currently doing is, obviously I've enjoyed this the last couple of days, but also going out, watching games, live games, watching games on TV, reading, researching. So when that chance does come again, you're not outdated. And I think the problem with a lot of coaches is that it's not coming up with new ideas, it's actually getting out some of the stuff from your mind that you've done previously. A lot of coaches can be stuck in their ways, and I'm not saying that there's not good stuff from years back that aren't relevant now, because there absolutely are. It's not the challenge is not always coming up with new ideas, staying relevant. It's getting out your ideas, some of the old stuff, which a lot of coaches can't do. They do get stuck in their ways, and I think it's important to innovate and be adaptable and move forward with the way the game's going.